Hey everyone, Steven here with some quick thoughts about Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1. So by now, I think everyone knows that all the rumors about this show were true, and that Kevin Smith lied when he claimed over and over again that He-Man would do no stepping aside to make room for Teela, and that his show was literally all about He-Man. But in fact, He-Man does step aside in a major way. Spoiler alert, but he literally dies in the first episode, and the rest of the show, at least in part 1, is literally all about Teela. It's the Teela show. And of course, as a lot of fans predicted, Kevin Smith is backpedaling now, deflecting criticism by using semantics to defend his lies by saying, well, He-Man doesn't step aside like the rumors said, he just sacrifices himself. As if they're not the same thing. He knows full well what fans were asking. Does He-Man get sidelined in his own show so that Teela becomes the main character? And that's exactly what happened. And now you have people defending it by saying, oh, well, he didn't lie. He just didn't want to spoil the twist and ruin the show. Which completely misses the main point. It's the twist itself that spoils the show, not the fans finding out about it. Sidelining He-Man for any reason, especially by killing him off, to make this show all about Teela, was not some clever twist that deserved to be kept secret. It was a bad idea that a lot of He-Man fans are upset with. Another lame excuse I see defending this show is that He-Man's name is not in the title. It's called Masters of the Universe, not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. As if that means anything. The original toy line, the comics, even the live-action movie was called Masters of the Universe, and they were all about He-Man. He was always the main character. He's what this franchise is literally all about. So of course, He-Man fans are going to rightfully expect He-Man to be the central character in a Masters of the Universe show, especially when the showrunner goes out of his way to tell you that's the case. I've been a fan of Masters of the Universe since I was a kid, and I have no desire to see a Masters of the Universe show where He-Man is sidelined for most of it, especially when it's done for some illegitimate reason. It's clear that Kevin Smith and company had an agenda here to make this the Teela show, and they used He-Man's death as a cheap gimmick just to sideline him and put her in the spotlight. It's a Trojan horse bait and switch tactic that we've seen many times before. And no, the issue isn't you just hate strong women, since that tired old accusation is being brought up again. The issue is that He-Man fans expect to see He-Man in a series that's supposed to be about He-Man. And we would have a problem with him being sidelined for any secondary character, no matter what their gender is. The fans who have issues with this show, fans of the original cartoon, are both men and women, and we're fans of He-Man and Teela. So it's not about us having an issue with female leads. It's about us wanting to see the characters we love treated with respect. Which brings up the other major problem with this new show. Kevin Smith actually ruins Teela's character. Not only is her appearance so radically changed that she's unrecognizable as Teela, but he turned her into a bitter, angry character who puts her feelings before everyone else. Just when Prince Adam's family learns about his death, and her own father is banished from the kingdom for it, she lashes out at them and men-at-arms for lying to her, making their moment of grief all about her and her feelings. Even if her anger was justified, her behavior was childish and selfish, and the Teela from the original series would never react that way. Ironically, this kind of writing doesn't make her feel like a strong, empowered woman. It makes her feel like an entitled brat. She actually ends up being the most unlikable character in the show. So whatever agenda they had for sidelining He-Man to make her the star, it backfired. As I've said before, the show looks great, but it's the writing and the story that are terrible. I mean, if they wanted Teela to have a bigger role, there was no need to kill He-Man off just to do that, especially not in the first episode. If you want to do a story where Teela discovers Adam's secret, do a story where she finds out, but He-Man is still alive and both of them are in the show together, dealing with that revelation. In part 1, have them on a quest together instead of Teela and Andrew. But Teela doesn't trust Adam/He-Man anymore, and she's angry that he didn't trust her with his secret, the way he trusted Man-at-Arms and others. Then build up to He-Man making a noble sacrifice to save her after they reconcile at the end of part 1, with He-Man's death being the cliffhanger. I mean, you do that, and guess what? Nobody would care if in part 2 the story focused more on Teela, especially if part 2 is about her quest to become the new sorceress so she can resurrect He-Man to defeat Skeletor. Then his death and her becoming more of the central character would be a natural progression of the story instead of feeling like a forced decision that has an agenda behind it. But instead, what do we get from Kevin Smith? More Hollywood subversion of fan expectations instead of giving fans what they actually want to see. And for what? Who was this made for? Apparently he made it to impress the media and his Hollywood friends because it sure wasn't made for He-Man fans. This show is disrespectful to He-Man fans, and it disgraces the characters we love. I would say fans will have to wait until part 2 and see if he can fix this. But honestly, I don't think there'll be too many fans watching when part 2 comes around, and Kevin Smith has no one to blame for that but himself. So yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know how you feel about the show, how you feel about Kevin Smith, and how he handled all this. Thanks for watching. Bye.